A rainy start to the week, what you can expect for the rest of it. Plus, the vaccination debate hitting close to home as people rally at the Capitol, what they say about a proposed bill.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Good evening and thanks for watching News 3 at 6. I'm Keely Arthur. Let's start right away with weather. Dave Caulfield is in our backyard patio with your first alert forecast. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Keely. We had a round of showers and thunderstorms roll through this morning into the early afternoon hours across southern Wisconsin, but much of the afternoon has been pretty quiet overall. It's been humid. It's been mostly cloudy, but quiet from a rain standpoint. And similar to yesterday, I think that's about to change as we get into the evening and especially into the overnight hours. We can see not too much happening on Doppler track right now, but just off to the west, closer to Decorah, Iowa, into southeastern Minnesota, we do have some stronger thunderstorms. Those will miss us to the west, but we are noticing some more showers to the south and west, and those will affect at least southwestern Wisconsin into the evening hours, and there is a chance of some heavier downpours into the overnight hours for the rest of southern Wisconsin. A live look in Madison at cloudy skies on the WISC-TV Skycam. You can see where that front is. Boy, oh boy, 53 in the Dells right now, at 70 in Madison, 72 in Janesville, and in the 40s right now in Watoma. That is a big temperature difference on both sides of the aisle, depending on where you are located. Dew points are also showing a big range this evening. 63 in Madison, 70 in Mineral Point. So that is really, really humid air. That is air that can produce a lot of rain quickly. So that is something that we'll continue to watch this evening and into the overnight hours. We'll keep the chances of showers and thunderstorms in the forecast as temperatures continue to dip through the 70s into the 60s. We'll track hour by hour as we get closer to the dry weather on Monday in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dave. Reported measles cases are at a 25-year high, spurring proposed legislation in Wisconsin to eliminate a parent's right to let their school-aged kids skip out on vaccinations. While it's backed by medical groups, our Madeline O'Neill explains why others took issue with it today at the Capitol.
Keely, with measles outbreaks in surrounding states, an area doctor believes it's just a matter of time until the disease makes its way here to Wisconsin. For doctors, vaccinating is a matter of public health. For parents rallying at the Capitol today, it all comes down to their rights.
We're just, here to let it be known that we call the shots as parents and as, citizens of the United States.
Amber Skett says after her 2-month-old son had a bad reaction to a vaccine, she wants more of a say.
I have an autoimmune disorder, so I know my children are genetically susceptible to harm from vaccination. So I should have the right as a parent to refuse those vaccinations without a doctor's note, essentially.
She's president of Wisconsin United for Freedom, the group organizing this rally.
We're here for all freedoms, Second Amendment rights, alternative health, holistic health.
What we're actually here about is personal freedom.
They believe the government goes too far with a proposed bill that would eliminate the personal conviction waiver that currently allows parents to exclude their student from getting vaccinated.
We're the parents. We know our kids better than anybody.
Vaccine hesitancy is unfortunately a rising trend in the United States.
Infectious disease expert Dr. James Conway says we're also seeing rising outbreaks of diseases like measles, at one point declared eliminated.
And the sad thing is that we were on pace that we thought we might be able to eradicate this disease by 2020 or 2025. And in fact, now we're back to where we started in many ways.
He says vaccines are tested in hundreds of thousands of people before being brought to market, then continually scrutinized from there.
All of these vaccine preventable diseases that we worry about are horrible. I mean, I'm one of the few people probably that has seen each and every vaccine preventable disease that we vaccinate against. I've watched children die from these diseases. I've watched children suffer even if they survive.
God gave us a defense mechanism in our immune system, and our bodies, they're designed perfectly.
Skett says after doing research of her own, which she recommends for others, she doesn't worry about diseases like measles on the rise.
You got to trust in your body.
Conway hopes vaccine skeptics will trust the words of medical experts.
We have an obligation in healthcare to help people understand better what the real facts are about these things, and we hope that they'll engage with us and look to us as the authorities that can actually help them really understand what the issues are that they're wrestling with.
So far this year, more than 800 cases of measles have been confirmed in the country, the greatest number since 1994 and since measles were declared eliminated in 2000, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Keely.
All right, thank you so much, Maddie. In news around the state today, Republican Senator Ron Johnson says he doesn't know if he'll seek a third term. He told reporters today at the Wisconsin Republican Party convention that if it was up to his wife, he would retire. He also said that he doesn't support banning abortions as early as 6 or 8 weeks into a pregnancy. He believes that decision should be made at a state level. Many conservatives have been pushing strict abortion laws in states like Alabama and Missouri, hoping to force the Supreme Court to revisit Roe v. Wade. A panel of 3 federal judges is temporarily blocking a decision that would force Assembly Speaker Robin Vos to be questioned in a federal redistricting lawsuit. Vos was scheduled to testify later this month, but argues he shouldn't because of legislative privilege, which protects lawmakers from being sued. The lawsuit from Democrats challenges election maps. It argues that Vos and other Republican lawmakers drew it to help GOP majorities. The Diocese of La Crosse is responding after a retired priest is charged with 4th-degree sexual assault. 94-year-old Monsignor Bernard McGarty allegedly approached a woman on a bench outside a library earlier this month and offered her money for sex. Police say he then tried to kiss her and then took her hand and put it on his genitals. The library says they have the video to prove it. In a release this morning, the diocese said McGarty is on leave while the investigation is underway. In 2014, McGarty was cited in Wausau for disorderly conduct after exposing himself to a massage therapist. More local news now. Fitchburg police are investigating a report of multiple shots fired overnight. Officers responded to reports of shots fired around Leopold Way and Longford Terrace around midnight. Anyone with information about the incident is asked to call the Fitchburg Police Department. A recent study by USA Today found one Rock County community to be the worst in the entire state of Wisconsin, but those living there say that's not the case. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with why officials in Beloit say they are very proud of the city. Adam?
Well, Keely, Beloit was voted the worst in Wisconsin based off of 3 factors: property values, poverty rate, and crime rate. And according to a study by the USA Today that analyzed all 3, Beloit has double the rest of the state of poverty rate at 24% and had a median home value of about $85,000, which is roughly half the state's average. Still, leaders there say they're making strides and don't believe the data used in the study accurately represents what the city's all about.
I would hope they would do is embrace their community. If you haven't been to Beloit, come and see it. If you live here, stand up and be proud. That newspaper doesn't know anything about what's going on in our community.
And leaders say that future developments have the city trending upwards, and those would include downtown developments like a new stadium for the Beloit Snappers and a new Ho-Chunk casino possibly moving into town. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear more from city leaders as well as folks who live in Beloit, what they have to say.
All right, thank you so much, Adam. Well, coming up next in our show, Madison's Hispanic community is coming together today to celebrate children. We'll explain ahead. Welcome back. More than 1,500 people packed into the Goodman Community Center for a special day honoring children. The Latino Children and Families Council hosted Día de los Niños, or Day of the Children, for the 16th year. While the day is to celebrate kiddos, play fun games, and eat good food, there were also vendors offering services to the community. Local authorities were there as well, including Police Chief Koval. Organizers say that was an important aspect of the event, especially after ICE raids in Madison in September of last year.
We need to send a strong message to our community that we're here to represent them, and that's why we have local authorities to come and to mingle with everybody.
Besides Chief Koval, other special guests included Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway, County Executive Joe Parisi, and even Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. Fed up with robocalls, some lawmakers on Capitol Hill are too, and now there could finally be legislation to help. Consumer Reports has more on how these bills could help hang up on those incessant calls and predatory calls as well.
When it comes to robocalls, it's unanimous. They are aggravating.
You have been approved to lower your interest rates.
But robocalls aren't just annoying. They're also costing people billions of dollars. Take Jerry Vargas. She's a caretaker for her mother who has Alzheimer's disease. Jerry says her mom has been scammed numerous times from unwanted calls.
If I count the products that came for home repairs and services where they was not legitimate, it probably wouldn't run into the hundreds or thousands.
And Jerry's story happens all too often. In the last 12 months, consumers lost an estimated $10.5 billion to phone scammers.
Robocalls have become the scourge for consumers.
The number now is 47.8 billion calls a year.
The discussion on Capitol Hill focused on legislation that would beef up existing laws and ensure that phone companies implement technologies to reduce spoofed calls, where scammers mask their identity with fake numbers that might look familiar or local.
The protections that are currently in place haven't done enough to stop robocalls from incessantly hounding consumers. So the proposals in Congress would require telephone companies to implement better technology that would help stop spoof calls. This would be a huge win for consumers.
As for how you can protect yourself now, Consumer Reports says you can try using your phone carrier's anti-robocall service. Also available are third-party robocall blocking apps. Consumer Reports says Nomo Robo, Haya, and Umail all offer call protection options. I'm Chris Lewinberg, News 3 Now.
To find out what your phone carrier offers, sign into its website and look for links referring to call security or call blocking. We'll be right back. Tens of millions of Americans are on tornado watch this weekend after powerful twisters hit several states in the Great Plains. Kenneth Craig reports.
Near Geronimo, Oklahoma, the damage to some homes is substantial after a tornado touched down early Saturday, and a suspected tornado also hit Abilene, Texas, tearing up homes and businesses.
Oh, look at that. It's right in front of us.
The National Weather Service says 8 tornado sightings were reported in Kansas, including this one in Mineola. It knocked a semi-truck on its side.
Oh, it's on the road! It knocked the semi over in the road in front of us.
The same team of storm chasers followed this twister as it tore through southwest Kansas, ripping apart this mobile home. No injuries were reported. The day after shows the path of destruction left behind. Tornadoes were also reported in Nebraska. Storm experts are warning residents to be prepared.
It's really important for folks to have a plan, monitor forecasts, and be ready to take action, if a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning is issued for their location.
The powerful storm system stretches from Canada to Mexico and is expected to bring more severe weather during the week. Kenneth Craig, CBS News.
Forecasters say parts of Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana could see tornado activity through Saturday. For the next several days, the weather system is expected to bring thunderstorms with damaging winds, hail, and flash floods to several states in the central and southeastern U.S. Well, let's get a look at what's going on in our neck of the woods. Dave Caulfield joins us with our first alert weather. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Keely. A couple of storms tonight could be a little bit on the strong side, but really we've been dealing with just wave after wave of heavy rain, mostly across southern Wisconsin over the last 3 days or so, picking up over an inch of rain at the airport, bringing our monthly total up to about 2.7 inches of rain. Now, our average for the entire month of May is just about 3.5 inches. So if everything lines up just exactly right tonight, we could surpass that average as we get into Sunday. So we could really be talking about a whole lot of rain still to come. And we've already experienced a whole lot of rain last night as that front moved slowly to the north. These storms just kind of rode along that front, and for a while there was a flood advisory for portions of Iowa and Dane counties. You could see some of these numbers are 48-hour precipitation estimates by radar, about 2.5 to close to 4 inches of rain for some folks just south of Madison, and more heavy rain could be on the way. We did see some light shower activity and thunderstorm activity earlier this morning into the early afternoon hours, but much of the day has been quiet, pretty similar to yesterday. But we do have more bad weather possibly on the way. We have a group of thunderstorms moving to the north and northeast through Iowa that will definitely affect southwestern Wisconsin as we get into the evening hours. Just south of that, we have severe thunderstorm and now some tornado warnings across Missouri and Arkansas. But we're watching the threat of some more heavy downpours as we get into the overnight hours for spots like Madison and south central Wisconsin. In Madison, on the Edgewater Skycam, it is humid. It is mostly cloudy, but no rain just yet, which is good news. The almanac for today, after starting off in the 40s and 50s, we actually did make it to 70 degrees today, believe it or not, under all that cloud cover, thanks to that front. And temperatures are just a little bit above normal for this time of year. And it really did depend on where exactly you were located, because if we were a little bit north of Madison, temperatures stayed in the 50s for today. And the rest of us, we enjoyed the 70s. I guess you could say enjoyed, because it has been pretty humid throughout the day with this system getting closer and closer. Right now, those temperatures still in the 70s in Madison, Monroe, and Janesville. 48, though, just a little bit farther north in Watoma. On future track, we noticed the threat of some showers and storms in the forecast this evening, especially south and west of Madison. As we get into the overnight hours, we could be dealing with multiple rounds of heavy rain, also some gusty winds, some small hail not out of the question, especially in those earlier thunderstorms. But overnight, it really takes a lot of energy, a lot of juice in the atmosphere to get the hail threat to be elevated. But we're still watching for some more isolated spots of flooding and then some more strong to severe thunderstorms possible into Sunday afternoon before finally we get a dry day to set up on Monday. We're in between systems at that point, but before then, and keep in mind, folks, we've already seen about 2 to 3 inches of rainfall across southern Wisconsin, and an additional inch to about 2 to 2.5 inches not out of the question as we get through the next 24 hours or so. So really the flooding situation needs to be closely monitored over the next day or so for southern Wisconsin. Dry on Monday, but then another stormy and rainy stretch sets up for basically Tuesday through Friday. Those temperatures, though, do move a little bit closer to 80 degrees as we get into the start of the weekend.
I know we're seeing a lot of severe weather, but kind of exciting to see that 80 degrees.
Exactly. If we could just separate those, that would be great, but that 80 comes with some strings attached, so we'll watch that closely.
All right, thank you so much, Dave. Still ahead, the Badgers softball team trying to stay alive in the NCAA tournament. Highlights next in sports.
Well, the Badgers softball team confident coming into today's winners bracket game against Oklahoma. Wisconsin beat Notre Dame yesterday 4-2. But the Sooners taking advantage of the Badger mistakes right away. A little miscommunication there, and Sydney Romero crosses home plate for Oklahoma. They're up 1-0. Later in the fifth, Grace Green drills one through the right side. Kaylee Clifton scores. The Badgers down 2-0 now. Giselle Juarez firing away against Wisconsin, not allowing a hit and striking out 16. The Badgers lose 4-0. Wisconsin now awaits the winner of Notre Dame and UMBC. They'll play in the double elimination tournament later around tonight at 8 o'clock. An update now on Jimmy Nelson. Craig Counsell says he'll make one more start in AAA on Thursday, and at that point they'll have to make a decision on whether to put him in the starting rotation because it is time. He's healthy and, according to Counsell, responding well. Meanwhile, tonight the rest of the team in Atlanta after getting slammed last night 12-8. Chase Anderson starting on the mound for the Brew Crew. He's off to a 2-0 start this season with a 3.20 ERA. A little laugh out loud tweet last night from my friend Nicole Haas, who covers women's college hockey. She said, "What was the low point of the Bucs season? Maybe that one time we lost 2 in a row." That was, by the way, in the regular season. The Bucs have only lost 1 game in the playoffs, which is really an incredible record. So what's the secret? Well, since the regular season, Bucs head coach Mike Budenholzer has always preached to stay together. Whether the Bucs are